I think I want to start with the 5 dimensions of a human life, which is physical, mental, emotional, financial, and spiritual.
That the common connection to all the 5 areas is you. If you look at a birth of a child, that's the most beautiful example of creation. Challenges make you stronger. Expecting others to change is not wrong. Depending on it is a disaster.
How do we stay away from the wrong ones?
The past ego has to die for you to evolve into a new creation.
Today's guest is someone who has spent decades helping people break through limitations, unlock their potential, and create lasting transformation in both life and leadership. Harrish SaiRaman, popularly known as HSR, is a renowned motivational speaker, hypnotherapist, author, life and spiritual coach. Over the years, he has impacted more than 3 lakh individuals through 3,000 plus seminars and coaching interventions, helping people discover possibilities beyond what they believed was possible.
The daughter comes back home, goes and gives a hug to the father and cries and says, "Papa, I don't want you to die." And the father says, "I'm not going to die." And the kid says, I've learned that smoking is a bad habit, it can kill, it can cause cancer. I don't want you to die. Affirmation hamesha kaam karta hai, but if it is a calling for you to evolve deeper, basic techniques will stop working for you. But the biggest question is, why do I want to do it? Hypnotherapy is nothing but a technique which is giving you access to the subconscious mind. हम conscious mind को hang कर रहे हैं.
Recognized as the training leader of the year and among the top 101 coaching leaders of India by the World HRD Congress and ET Now, Harrish has also been featured in Forbes India for his transformational work. When success is often measured by external achievements, Harrish reminds us that true transformation begins within. Welcome to the Coevolve podcast, Harrish. It's an honor to have you with us.
It's never meant to be perfect. Even the richest man has something which is not working. And I always say the biggest progress in life is when the problem is still a problem, but your perspective towards it has changed. It has a deadline.
So the rule is until you feel the emotion, you do it.
Laptop technique of manifestation, which means every time you open the laptop, the screensaver says, "I manifest amazing events in life." There are other interference also. For example, karmic cycles.
One quote that you live by.
That till the time I'm breathing and I'm alive, I would like to keep transforming lives of millions of people.
All right. So, Harrish, I think I want to start with the 5 dimensions of a human life, which is physical, mental, emotional, financial, and spiritual.
Okay.
I feel these are the 5 pillars of our life. And we all struggle with balancing them all. You know, there are challenges in each. And most of us are lost where to start with. I would love you to decode, maybe start with the emotional part, because that's where I think most of the struggle is. That's our pain point usually. So why don't we start with that? Like, how would you address and what's your recommendation for somebody who's going through a lot of challenges in the emotional aspect of his or her life? Yeah.
So first of all, of course, as you rightly mentioned, these are the 5 dimensions which are definitely there. And a lot of times achieving balance becomes a little difficult because people are looking at it as 5 dimensions, which means 5 major areas of life. What they at times miss, that the common connection to all the 5 areas, or even if you have to create 15 areas, the common connection is you. So you are the person who's connected to all these areas of life. So the predominant work that needs to happen is on yourself. Now think about it. If I take my own energy, frequency, vibration, emotion, whatever, to the next level, which are the areas of life which is going to get impacted positively? The answer is all of them, because they all are connected to you or connected with you. So the most important thing, work on yourself rather than looking at 10 different dimensions, 5 different dimensions, because they can be overwhelming. And another important point that you mentioned is challenge, right? And you did mention emotional challenges. But the most important point that everyone should understand is challenges are inevitable in life. In fact, I usually say they are by spiritual design. Whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, it will happen in your life. It can be physical, it can be mental, it can be financial, it can be in your relationships, and undoubtedly, as you ask the question, it can be emotional. And there's a very cliched, popular statement, it's there on the internet, which says, challenges make you stronger. And that is not just a statement, it is the core belief that one needs to carry to resolve any issues of life. Because challenges can be overwhelming, especially if it is emotional, it can be very overwhelming for people. But to even believe that if I am going through a challenge, which means I have an opportunity to become stronger in life, is where the game of progress begins in your life. That's the most important point. And of course, when we talk about emotional challenges, if you have to name some of them, what are some of the names that's coming to your mind?
I think relationships. I think it's the most common challenge. Whether you talk of a couple not able to get along, we've seen so many divorces and separations. Yeah. Even when you're dating, there are breakups. I think we're all, as humanity, going through this pain point. So let's first address that. Let's take a live example. Let's say I've gone through a separation, for example, and I come to you emotionally very disturbed. I'm not feeling right, not able to perform at work. And just not feeling aligned. So, as an expert, as a therapist, what would be the roadmap for me? What's the starting point?
So, the most important point, especially for the question that you've asked, I would say not every separation is a failure. That's important. As a therapist, I would have done at least 500 relationship therapies, where about 450 we have tried bridging the gaps, healing the relationship. But there are about 50 cases where we've said it's better to separate. So the most important point is, how are you concluding the separation? How are you concluding what society looks at as a failure? That's the most important point, because at that point in time, separation is the only solution. And I'm not giving license, or I'm not telling people that this is where you need to go. But the way you look at it is the first point. And then, of course, why are these happening? There are, of course, different dimensions, different answers. There is the emotional part of it. There's the physical part of it. There is the compatibility part of it. My eyes just went to this word over here in your coffee cup, which says, Coevolve. And this is a very beautiful thing that people need to understand, right? And Coevolve is something that gives an answer. Like if I start with a biological explanation, if you look at a birth of a child, that's the most beautiful example of creation. But if you look at biology, जो majority of लोगों को पता है, it's the sperm that is meeting the egg. But what many people probably don't know biologically, the sperm dies. The egg is no longer the egg, and now is the creation of a soul, which means the past ego has to die for you to evolve into a new creation. So whether it is a relationship between a husband and wife, a parent or a child, a boss and a subordinate, you and the organization, the question is not about mera chalega ki tera chalega. Where creation starts and relationships gets better is where you realize na mera na tera. When we come together, let's create something which is beyond our own ego, is where you're gifting a genuine opportunity for the relationship to get better. And today, if you look at it, multicultural, right? Multi-religion, multiple backgrounds, it's a beautiful thing. But when people come together, are you bringing back your baggage saying, ye mera, ye tera, tu mere isme aaya hai? The drama begins from there itself. And what seems to be like an adjustment initially is only a compromise. So for anything to work or anything to co-evolve or create, you got to let go of something of the past and continuously work on it. So
I love that thought. And we all, I think, inherently want to do it.
Absolutely.
But I feel almost each one of us is struggling with how to get there. Because, okay, we know that ego is, the devil, which comes in between relationships. But it's very tricky, right? Sometimes you also feel the need to use your ego because you need to have a voice as well.
Absolutely.
So let's talk on how do a person gets to a place of balance where he knows or she knows when to use it, what's the right amount, yeah.
So in my opinion, one of the most important space that needs to be created is a space for conversations. And where all is this happening today is a very, very important question. Like if you ask the majority of married people or any relationship, be it professional, like if I ask you a question, how important is the relationship even in an organization for the team to achieve the goal? And everybody would say it's absolutely important. Because if the relationship between team members is good, if the relationship between the boss and the subordinate is nice, there is a high possibility you will end up achieving any goal. If the relationship between husband and wife, if the relationship in the family, and I'm not talking about perfection. The thought of perfection itself will make you negative in life because that's too much of pressure in life, right? So the ups and downs are inevitable. But the point is, how do I improvise on the relationship? And the first thing is conversation. Like today, if I have a problem with somebody, am I talking to that person with whom I have a problem, or am I going and talking to somebody else
About
who's anyways not going to help me with the problem? So if I have a problem with my spouse, I'm talking to my friend. If I have a problem with my boss, I'm talking to somebody else, maybe a colleague. If I have a problem with a colleague, I'm talking to another colleague. The question is, when are you going to talk to the person with whom you have a problem? And are you talking about the relationship when there is no problem? For example, when I ask married people, when was the last time you had a conversation with your spouse only asking how our relationship has been for the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and how can we take it to the next level? Majority of people say, aisa risk mat le. I understand even asking that question is a risk. बिकॉज लगता है कि आज पूछ लूंगा पता नहीं पैंडोरास बॉक्स खुल जाएगा, क्या क्या निकल के आएगा, 4 हेडेक मिल जाएगा. सो व्हाट पीपल आर डूइंग, चल रहा है ना, चलने दो. Now what happens is they only have conversations when the fire is already ignited. But उसको हम fire fighting बोलते हैं. Now when you get into that conversation, you are already ready with blame game. You're ready to fight, you're ready to prove, you're ready to justify, I am right, you are wrong. और यहाँ पे conversation healing वाली होती नहीं है. So I always tell people, have candid conversations when things are okay, because that builds the relationship and openness. ताकि जब खराब भी होगा, you will be in a position to have that conversation. So the first thing that I would say, in your relationship, have conversation. Don't talk to your child जब marks कम आता है. Don't say बेटा बैठ अभी बात करनी है. Can you sit and talk to your child saying बेटा आज दिन कैसा था, right? और forget about आज school कैसा था, और forget about tiffin खाया कि नहीं. You've come back from 6 hours. I want to give you a hug. I want to give you a hug and I really love you. बाद में बात करते हैं कि क्या हो गया मार्क्स में, क्या हो गया. सो आर वी ऑल्सो कन्वर्सिंग. लाइक आज कोई मैनेजर अपने जूनियर को बोलता है, आई वांट टू गिव यू अ फीडबैक. हाउ मेनी ऑफ देम आर इंस्पायर्ड? हाउ मेनी ऑफ देम फील एक्साइटेड सेइंग फीडबैक मतलब कुछ अच्छा आएगा? मेजॉरिटी ऑफ पीपल यू टेल देम फीडबैक, दे आर ऑलरेडी स्कैर्ड. दे लाइक बॉस बुला रहा है मतलब कुछ तो गड़बड़ हुआ है. Why should it be even this way? And this tells us the gap in healthy conversations. It should happen in a formal way. It should happen in an informal way. It should happen over a cup of coffee. It should happen over a cup of tea. So anyone who would want to improve their relationship, the first step, be open and create spaces for conversations.
I mean, I love that, but I feel probably even before that, don't you think we need to all work on ourselves? Like you rightly said, you started with that. Because for me to even have like a heart-to-heart conversation,
Right.
I need to be in a state of balance myself. Because otherwise, it's like my trauma is reflecting onto the other,
Absolutely.
right? Where you can't have a empathetic conversation. So let's, go a step back and what would you recommend a person? Let's say today I'm aware that I need to work on myself.
Right.
I need to first get into a state of balance. Where do I start? Let's give them a playbook.
Beautiful. So the most important point is self-work is a continuous journey.
For sure.
It's been 23 years, I'm still working on myself. And I will keep working on myself probably till the last day of my life.
Totally.
Not because I necessarily have a problem,
Yeah.
because I want to continuously improve in life.
Of course.
Second thing, sometimes we are in a state of imbalance, but in spite of that, you can still have healthy conversation if your purpose and intent is clear. For example, can a coach help a player in spite of the coach being in a bad space? It is still possible, provided the intention of the coach is very clear. My job is to bring out the best in the player, which means the coach may not be as good as the player, but still can bring out the best in the player, which also means if the intention and purpose is very clear. Maybe I am in a state of anger right now in a relationship. Do I have to resolve my anger totally and then have a conversation only? Maybe sometimes it could take 5 sessions of therapy, or I'll have to do a lot of work, but the conversation needs attention, attention right now. So even the purpose, saying my purpose is to have a healthy conversation in spite of me feeling angry, doesn't solve it totally and completely, but gives you a direction. Like behind every behavior of ours, there is a purpose. We are not always conscious of the purpose, but there is a purpose.
Exactly.
So reminding. So the first point in the playbook is to remind yourself of the purpose every day in the morning and before every important conversation. For example, if you and I have an argument, or I have an argument with somebody, let's say I have an argument with my spouse, और phone पे बात कर रहा हूँ, argument खराब हो जाता है, और and I get angry and I cut the phone saying मुझे बात ही नहीं करना, I'll speak to you in the evening. Now I am angry, however a friend comes, a colleague comes, distracts me, my emotion changes. But by the time I'm going back home, the memory comes back, and the memory always brings the emotion back. And some people are absolutely good in reminding themselves of the last 3 fights also. So not only the emotion comes back, it comes back in multifold, because my mind is saying ये पहला भी हुआ है, इसके पहले भी हुआ है, and now I am angry. I am going home. I am wanting to have a conversation. But there is a purpose that is got created, and the purpose is to prove I am right. And in a conflicting situation, if I have to be right, you have to be wrong. But before I enter, let's imagine I've set a reminder on my phone, and the reminder says, beep, beep. I look at the reminder and it says, remember your purpose. And I just redefine by saying my purpose is to have a healthy conversation or find a solution. By reminding myself of a new purpose, I'm not saying guarantee. Do you think it has the power to change my behavior?
Partially.
Partially.
Yeah.
Right? So now when I enter, the way I usually respond is now changed. But you know what's the beauty? The other person still has the old purpose. So other person bhi talwar leke hi khada hai ya khadi hai. But because they see a change in my behavior, they are not changing, they are doubting. But a doubt is still better than the confidence that this person will attack. And now if you're consistent in the new behavior, you know what happens? The other person is ready to change their behavior.
Yeah, it's reflecting.
Now you are coming to a healthy conversation. तो कई बार क्या होता है? A slight positive conversation will change your emotion and even the belief. And sometimes you working on your emotions can change the conversation. Which one do you have to do first? It's like asking अंडा पहले की मुर्गी. आप या तो अंडे पे काम करो, मुर्गी की काम करो, but one is going to lead to the other.
Yeah.
So in the entire playbook, I would definitely say conscious reminder of the purpose. Like for example, सुबह उठते से ही, reminding yourself of the purpose that if you are alive, if you have been given life and you've opened your eyes, my purpose is to create a beautiful day. No guarantee it will be a beautiful day. It can be a pathetic day. But to remind yourself of the purpose is aligning you into a different positive energy. Because some people get up in the morning and say, वही काम पे जाना है, अरे यार उठना पड़ेगा, 15 मिनट और सोना है. All of this is creating a different purpose. So the first point, purpose. The second point, of course, always remember every challenge, every problem, this might sound very weird, is good news. A problem is telling you what you have to work on. So when somebody says, I have a health problem, I always say, दिख क्या आ गया, diagnose हो गया, now you can work on it.
Yeah.
A hidden problem which shows no symptoms and directly flares up is very dangerous. And we've seen that happening. Cancer, no symptoms, directly detected with the final stage. So if you're seeing problems showing up in relationship, हमारा argument होता नहीं था, आजकल हो रहा है. हम पहले प्यार से बात करते थे, आजकल झगड़े हो रहे हैं. हम पहला टाइम निकालते थे, आजकल बिल्कुल टाइम नहीं हो रहा है. These are all problems or symptoms of the problem showing up. I would say it is good news. So the next point is to ask yourself, problem जो दिख रहा है, what should I learn from it and what should I change in myself? The biggest goof up is to have an illusion, I am perfect, सामने वाले को बदलना है. See, the biggest illusion is everybody wants somebody else to change. एक बार वो सुधर गया, my life is better. Expecting others to change is not wrong. Depending on it is a disaster. So to realize it doesn't matter who the problem is, whoever wants to see a change is the one that needs to change.
Starts from you.
Absolutely. So to realize if I change, that doesn't make me weaker. जैसे मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ, the person who's able to say, let's let go of this, is the one who's strong. The one who's holding back, which is still creating problem, is the one who's weak because you're holding on to poison and you're thinking you're strong. Rather, you're stupid and weak. But letting go may not be easy. It might require
and the person
techniques.
is suffering the most.
Absolutely.
You know,
so if I am holding
that's
a grudge,
the worst part.
Yeah, I am the one who's suffering first. I am blocking my own manifestation. I am going through acidity. I am going through headache. So when I think about the person who hurt me the most, it is me who's going through a torture first, right? And maybe the other person is in the blissful state, maybe having a couple of pegs today. We don't know about that.
That's the worst part.
Absolutely. And that's why I tell people forgiveness is not about giving permission to the other person to keep hurting you. Forgiveness is your ability to give yourself the permission to no longer get impacted with what others did. You're doing work on yourself. And that's the most important point.
Yes.
So the ability to work on that, letting go, learning from the challenge is important. If you go back to a few minutes back, I said challenges are by design. I remember one of my spiritual teachers who always said, Harish, जब सब कुछ smooth चल रहा है, कुछ तो आने वाला है. And I thought that's such a pessimistic statement 23 years back. But then I realized the wisdom in it. So that is when he told me, don't wait for a problem to come. You rather pick up a challenge. That is why organizations, if you've achieved 100, will now say, let's do 150. You can easily say, "Ara 100 abhi mila hai, shanti mein baithna." Wapas again, why another challenge? But the realization that if you don't keep taking up challenges, even in relationships together, you will have problems because the definition of life is to learn and evolve. If everything is smooth, you will not learn and evolve. Only when there are complexities, people come and question, why me? Why is it happening to me? मेरे साथ ही क्यों हो रहा है?
Yeah, the victim mindset.
और वहां से your gateway to empowering yourself begins in life.
I absolutely agree to that. I think it's a window of opportunity.
Absolutely.
And I think the preparation is what we need to work on.
Absolutely.
And that's my next question. Basically, see, I've seen people, they want to change, right? They're aware that I need to change.
Right.
But again, coming to the starting point or having a very defined, a very specific solution to what I'm going through is something I feel people are completely lost in today. So let's say one is, you said conscious intentions, which is great. We can, parallelly start with that, which can partially help. But let's say I want to completely transform my energetic, behavior. Of course, it's a journey, but then can you suggest like some steps? For example, people repel therapy. It's a taboo. But how can a human kind of get into this journey, at least start with walking on this journey of transformation? And what's the right way to do it?
Okay. So, point number one, I have hardly met people who do not want better results in life.
Yeah,
That's
universal.
That's universal. Of course, we are not counting the yogis and the monks who are neither getting impacted with pain nor getting impacted or flowing away with pleasure. So they are operating at a different level. The majority of people are operating out of pain and pleasure. They are avoiding pain or wanting more pleasure. So everybody wants different results in life. And why do you want different results in life? Because you believe it's possible. If you believe it's just not possible, you may not even crave for it.
Yeah.
But the reality, as you rightly said, if you want anything more or different, you will have to change.
Yeah.
So the desire to change, or the necessity, the need, or the realization that you've got to change is extremely important. Right? Now, when do people normally change? There are only two situations, either inspiration or desperation. I always say in Hindi, ya to andar ki aag ya fir niche ki aag. Either of them is going to make you jump and take action.
Yeah.
Right? Now, unfortunately, both gives results. But desperation will also weaken your body.
Yeah.
Inspiration will strengthen your body. So I either inspire people to achieve it, or I threaten them saying, if you don't achieve it, you're going to lose your job. It's going to create an unhealthy culture. Right? Now, what are the things which are required to make that shift, to achieve that goal, to make that change? The most important point, if I look at cliched principles of goal setting, what is it that you would like to change? What is it that you would like to achieve?
But even for that, don't you think people need some counseling? Because self-awareness is the first step. And most of us, most of the people are not self-aware. Like, they don't know what is wrong with them.
Fortunately,
Yeah.
a lot of people are told what they have to achieve. They are given a target. They're given a target. They know what they have to achieve. For example, if it's an employee, the employee knows what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
A holistic person is going to think about improving health, wealth, relationship, every area of life. So somewhere people know what they want to do. And I always say, when you're not very clear of what you want to do in the long term, focus on the short term. For example, do you drive?
Yeah.
Have you ever driven on a foggy weather?
Yeah.
So there is a possibility that you have no idea what's ahead. But that doesn't stop you. Even if you're able to see 100 meters ahead, you still move in that direction. So I've had a lot of people coming and saying, Harish, I have no clue of what I want to do in life. And I tell them, forget it. Jada pressure mat dal. Of course, you can go to a career coach, you can go to a counselor, you can go to a therapist. The therapist will help you. I always tell people, whenever you are in a dilemma, whenever you are confused, you are seeing no possibility, there are beautiful coaches, therapists, counselors. Take the help. They are existing. Take help. If I didn't take the support of a therapist 23 years back, I would have never reached where I am at this point in time.
Yeah.
So take that help. But
because they become a mirror, right?
They become a catalyst.
Yeah.
They clear certain things for you, right? Or at least they tell you this fog is temporary. They become your GPS. They become the one who's giving you information. Now imagine you're driving on a foggy weather and a coach tells you it's only another 400 meters. Now you will not stop. Why? Because you know the future is going to unfold in a better way. You still keep moving in that direction. But the least that anyone should know is, what do I have currently, and can I become better at it? So if I'm currently working for an organization, if currently I'm playing the role of a mother or a father or a spouse or any role, can I just become better in this particular role is an immediate target, even if you can't think anything ahead. So there is still something that you can work on. So primarily, what is it that I want to achieve? But the biggest question is, why do I want to do it? Psychologists always say, if the why is not clear, the what doesn't have the power for you to achieve it. Like today, if I give you an example, do you have any idea how much time, money, effort one needs to invest in summiting the Mount Everest? Just to give you an idea, the tallest peak on this planet, approximately 60 to 70 lakh Indian rupees is what one needs to invest to even attempt to summit the Mount Everest.
Interesting.
Okay, that's kind of a minimum amount. Second, there is no guarantee you will reach the top. In fact, you might reach even higher than that. There is a possibility. That's why you are asked to even sign a form which says, even if you in between
undertaking,
you cannot hold the Nepal government responsible or your guide responsible. If you look at in isolation, all of these points are only pain. But the biggest question is, what makes them still do it? And you know, I know, and all the viewers also know there is a very strong why. Right? And it could be different for different people. For somebody, it could be, I want to feel how it feels to stand on the top of the world. For somebody, it could be, I just want to prove that I'm strong. I'm stronger than the problems of my life. For somebody else, it could be, I'm doing it for someone and I want to experience the joy of giving. It's different why. So point number one, what is it that you want to change and why do you want to change? I remember many years back, a client came to me with smoking issues. He said, I'm smoking approximately 30 cigarettes a day, right? But I'm still healthy. But I want you to help me with this because I know down the line, it might be a problem. This guy was into sports, swimming, regular exercise. And I said, let's do hypnotherapy. I started working with him, did therapy. In about 3 sessions, we got him down to about 10 cigarettes. He was happy. I was fascinated. I was very happy. And I said, great success. Powerful. But you know what was more powerful? Before the 4th session, the guy calls me saying, Harish, chhod diya. Wow. And I said, what happened? And he said, can I come and meet you and talk? I said, yes, because I was also curious. I wanted to know, did anything out of the 3 sessions made a magical change? Now, this guy comes and tells me his daughter at that time was around 6-year-old and very, very attached to the daughter. The one thing that he can't handle is the daughter crying. One fine day after the 3rd session, the daughter comes back home, goes and gives a hug to the father and cries and says, Papa, I don't want you to die. And the father says, I'm not going to die. And he says, and the kid says, I've learned that smoking is a bad habit. It can kill, it can cause cancer. I don't want you to die. And that created an emotional impact so powerful that he quit. So the why was strong enough. Is your why strong enough that no barrier will ever stop you? Because we can find 10 reasons for not doing it. But if your one reason for doing it is strong enough, it is enough for you to make that change. So that's point number one. And this is not the complete story. Point number one is your why strong enough, right? The boss has given you the target, it's okay. But what is your reason of doing it? Is your why strong enough? Do you realize in the quest of achieving the target, you become a strong, powerful human being who can then inspire people to achieve something like this?
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, I think our why is just to be happy, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we all want to experience the happiness on a daily basis. So, of course, I understand the specific whys. Like if a person is aware that this is the problem area and I need to work on it, great.
But you know what?
Yeah.
What you're saying is not something a lot of people accept. Because when you talk to them about happiness, a lot of people say, that can wait, pehla paisa bana leta hu. So, because for the majority of people, what seems to be a vacuum today is what they feel is what they want to achieve and they feel that will bring in happiness.
The external.
The reality is if you can't learn to be happy, at least in certain moments with whatever you have, nothing tomorrow will bring in more level of happiness. But the why is not just the only story. Second, the kind of environment that you are in. इसीलिए बचपन में बोलते थे संगत का असर impact करता है. So the kind of people that you are with. Let me ask you a question. I talk a lot on the power of belief. Do you agree? If somebody believes it's possible, half the job is already done.
Absolutely.
Can I achieve?
Live by it.
Absolutely. So can I achieve something without having a belief?
No.
The beauty is, yes, provided you are surrounded with people who believe in you. Think about this. I'll give you a very small example. I'm not saying this will work always in the long term. Let us say I'm going to do bungee jumping for the first time. 300 feet. I am all geared up. But as soon as I look down in the valley, my immediate mind says, nahi, mujhse nahi hoega. Because my belief says, I can't do it. Something will go wrong. So my entire body moves in a backward direction. But all my friends who believe in me, pakad ke, bandh ke, phek dete. And I shout, I yell, but I go down, come back saying, Maza aaya, I would love to do it again. Which means you experience success in spite of a belief because you are surrounded with people who believed in you. Second point, and sometimes this could be a very huge defining factor. If you're surrounded with the energy of people whose frequency is higher than your frequency, that frequency will rub onto you.
Yeah, that I agree.
And that's why, while we don't have an option of always having positive people around us, you need to have someone or somebody who triggers that positivity in you. Now, if all of this is being done, And even if you bring in principles of manifestation, whether you're doing visualization or affirmation or any technique, and nothing is making you change, then you have to be smart enough to understand there is something deeper which is pulling you back.
Exactly. And that's
Okay.
what we should dive
And
deep
this
into.
is where, so you don't have to jump into therapy itself. Like if I use an analogy here, if you have the most fertile land called as the subconscious, it's very fertile. What you sow is definitely going to show up. But if you already have a lot of weeds of the past, negativity, emotions, negative beliefs, no matter what you sow, it's not going to work. And you will wonder, yaar, to main sab kuch kar raha hu. I am setting my goals. I am doing manifesting principles. I am repeating positive things. I'm repeating 1,000 times. Why it's not happening? Because there is something pulling you back. And this is the time, rather than sowing seeds, it's time to remove the weeds. This is where therapy helps. Therapeutic technique helps. You might have to go through hypnotherapy. You might have to go through REBT, do a lot of EFT tapping, work on your emotions.
Sorry, but can you also define all of those? Because
okay.
for the
So-
audience.
So, for example, there are hundreds of methods, right? It wouldn't be
Which
exaggeration
are
if I
the
say
top three,
infinite.
according to you? Most effective.
Now, very important, when I say top three, it's top three in my experience. It's not
Of
necessary
course.
that it is the top three.
Yeah.
So in my experience, what has really beautifully transformed my life is hypnotherapy.
Mm.
And hypnotherapy is nothing. Today, a lot of people have myths about hypnosis. If you just say hypnosis, they'll say, oh, it means you're going to control my mind. To use a very crude word, I'll say that is bullshit. Hypnotherapy is nothing but a technique which is giving you access to the subconscious mind. And the subconscious is the seat of your emotions, of your beliefs, of all your old patterns. Imagine if I was a 5-year-old and I almost drowned in the swimming pool. And let's say if this was 40 years back. But aaj bhi, I've become an adult, right? After 45, at the age of 45, some people say swimming pool dekhte se aaj bhi ghabra do. Which means such an old story still has an emotional charge. What hypnotherapy does, it takes you to the subconscious, takes you back to the origin where the problem started, and does a lot of healing work. Interpretation, there is body release, there is breathing technique that is used, there is interpretation that is used, after which maybe an affirmation comes in which says, now when I look at water in the swimming pool, I'm feeling comfortable.
So you're uprooting the weeds that you spoke about, basically.
Absolutely.
So you're cleaning the land.
cleaning
and then
the interpretation.
sowing the fresh
Absolutely.
seeds.
Like a lot of people say, oh, you're removing the past. You can't remove the past. It's going to remain. You will, if you remember, you will always remember that I almost drowned. What it is doing is, it is removing the emotional charge attached to that particular episode. So now when you look at the swimming pool, now when you look at an abusive person, now when you look at an arrogant boss, now when you look at an aggressive person, you're no longer feeling the jitters. Your mind says, I can handle it. So hypnotherapy takes you back.
So you're saying the memory stays.
Memory stays.
But the emotion attached to the memory is kind of faded off.
And the conclusion of the memory changes. At the end of the day, it's conclusion. Right? Because the only way of removing the memory is to get a memory loss. And that's a disease. Like when people come and say, I want to forget the past, I tell them, you need a memory loss. You need dementia. You need Alzheimer's. That's what you're asking for. So mastery is not forgetting the past. Mastery is your ability to remember the past, but have no negative impact when you think about the past.
Be neutral and indifferent.
Be neutral. And not only neutral, you're able to now look at the beauty of the past. Now, this may not be applicable in all cases. If somebody is telling me there is a physical abuse, I will never get into saying, let's look at the beauty of it. That will be ignorance. That will be stupidity.
Not too soon.
Absolutely.
At least.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if there was a failure of the past, now, if I have to give the viewers simple logical steps to work on the past and to let go of the past, right? There are only few very, very beautiful steps. Point number 1, learn from the past. Ask yourself, if a similar situation comes again, how will I handle it differently?
So, no, but then hypnotherapy that you mentioned, So let's say practically I take a session, which is like the starting point for me, right? Because naturally, obviously, we can't become suddenly this person who is able to manage everything, right? It's a process. So the attributes that you're mentioning, the qualities for me to be aware and manage emotions in a particular way or in a positive way. Let's go back to the hypnotherapy part a bit. So you said that it helps you to remove the past, right? I mean, the emotional charge of
Yeah.
it. And how do you kind of define how many sessions a person would need? What's the process there?
The proof of progress always starts with a change in your behavior, perception, eventually result. So if I'm now able to look at the past in a different way and look at future in a better way, that itself is a proof that it's worked.
Okay. So the science of this therapy, if we were to go a little deeper into it, is you get into a trance state, right? And the intelligence takes you to a memory which needs attention, right?
However,
And
in a
if-
hypnotherapy, the therapist who is the expert, who is skilled, is facilitating the entire process.
Yeah, of course.
Because when you have an emotional charge coming up, you may not have the logical wisdom at that point in time to interpret everything. So
For
the
sure.
therapist will help you do that. Like we've always seen, जब emotion high हो जाता है, logic rock bottom hit कर सकता है. That is why a lot of people say,
Yeah.
यार, people use this term very loosely, saying, पता नहीं क्या हो गया, I lost it. The question is, what did you lose?
Yeah.
And I lost my conscious desire to stay positive. Because when the emotional charge came up, इतना रोना धोना डर आ गया कि the logical awareness कि इससे मैं
Takes
सीख
over.
सकता हूँ was gone down the drain. यहाँ पे the therapist will help you release the charge. And a lot of times, even under hypnosis, it is done through breath work.
Yeah. Can
Take
you
a deep
take us
breath.
through the process of hypnotherapy?
See, the
also?
process of first of all, hypnosis is all about accessing the subconscious. Majority of people believe you have to be put to a trance. Television में दिखाते हैं pendulum सामने घुमा रहा है. It is not necessary. In fact, that's the most least practiced ever.
Yeah.
But they don't want the conscious mind to interfere too much. And that is why then the process involves deep relaxation or distraction or overloading the method, overloading the mind. Overloading the mind could be focus on a particular point, keep your focus on the point. While you're focused on the point, feel the temperature of the air entering your nose. And while you feel the temperature of the air entering the nose, feel the weight of your neck on your body or the weight of your head on your body. And while you do that, start counting from 50 to 0.
That sounds heavy.
And while
I
you-
think the earlier one was
And
better.
now when you count from 50 to 0, every time I snap my fingers, go one number up and come back again. What am I doing? I'm only confusing you. Now when your mind says, kitna kuch karna hai, it's like pressing enter, system hung. हम conscious mind को hang कर रहे हैं so that we break through into the subconscious.
Oh, okay. I think relaxation is.
However, not everybody would
Smoother
respond
way.
to relaxation. Sometimes this confusion is then followed by relaxation.
Depending on the
Having
psyche.
said this, one school of hypnotherapy also says if the emotions are already there, you are already in trance. So there is no need to do any of these. Having said this, a very important point that I want to mention is therapy is not a substitute for daily practices. Daily practices are not a substitute for therapy.
It has to go together.
And to let go of the past and heal the past, you need to do both. Whenever you feel it is overwhelming and too strong for you to do anything, please go to an expert. However, can you do something on a daily basis? Absolutely.
For sure.
And what is it that you can do? 3 steps. Step number 1, every evening, before dinner, after dinner, invest 5 minutes. Ask yourself, आज पूरे दिन में, what went right? What made it right? How can I make it better? Now, what is happening is you are acknowledging things which are going good also. Because I've had a lot of people coming and telling me, Harish, nothing is working in life. And I always feel that's exaggeration. And to challenge their thoughts, I also tell them nothing is working, heartbeat bhi nahi work kar raha hai kya? Breath bhi nahi work kar raha hai kya? And they'll sometimes laugh and say, Are, ye to chal raha hai. Then don't tell me nothing is working. Something is working. Maybe many things are not working.
Yeah.
Right? So primarily telling them what went good, what made it good, how can I make it better? Now, what went wrong, what can I learn? Because what went wrong today can become wrong tomorrow. What can I learn so that tomorrow when it happens, I respond to it in a better way? And who can be a coach or a mentor if I am not able to extract a learning? This, I would suggest, if you can practice it every day, the need for you to go to a therapist will be lesser. It's like daily doses. Sometimes you need a tremendous push and a tremendous spike. But what are you doing on a daily basis? If you go to a therapist and you feel healed, but you go back and keep sowing weeds, you're going to come back to the therapist again and again.
Yeah.
Right? And one fine day you would say it's not working because it feels as if it's getting resolved. And again, some other problem is happening. That's because you're sowing seeds. So there needs to be some daily practices. Like I usually ask people, why do you take a bath every day? And I hope, you take it every day. Depending on the climatic conditions, of course, some places.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people will say, because that makes me feel fresh. And a lot of times the truth is you accumulate a lot of dust, a lot of dirt, a lot of sweat. So taking bath is cleansing. So the simple question is, what are you doing as a cleansing ritual for your mind, for your emotions, like your body?
So one is the 5-minute ritual.
Introspection.
Yes.
And this, I always call it as a mindful pause. You have to realize if you genuinely want to accelerate, you have to learn to pause. It's like saying you and I are ready for 1,000 kilometers drive, but you and I say, rukna nahi. Phir to guarantee breakdown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And breakdown is where you have to go to a therapist.
True.
But if you genuinely pause, learn some methods, learn it from a therapist, and now you're doing the refueling,
Self-reflection.
oiling, servicing, your breakdowns will be very less in life.
So you said 3. One is self-reflection. What are the other 2?
So one, primarily self-reflection. The pause is important. The second, primarily something I've already mentioned, trying to look at the kind of people in your life and trying to stay connected with people who elevate your energy. And the third is continuous programming. So today I ask people, are you continuously programming or priming your mind towards positivity? What are some of the things that you're doing?
So affirmations.
Affirmations can work. Gratitude can work. Visualization can work. A combination of all of these can work. But the most important point is, all of this is eventually to make you feel more joyful, happy, inspired in the remaining part of the day. If you're already in that state, there is no need to do any techniques, because ultimately the techniques are done to be in a better state. Because the time put into the techniques is insignificant compared to the time when you're not doing the technique. So I would always tell people, techniques are to be in a good state. If you're in a good state, no need for techniques.
And when do I do this? What's the right time?
Any time is a right time. Although there are different people who've spoken about Brahma Muhurat in the morning, first thing in the morning, everything has some kind of science to it, right? But it is not necessarily. For me, any time is a good time. Because any time for development is a good time. Having said this, as soon as you open your eyes in the morning and before you go to sleep is spoken a lot, because that little drowsy state, you are in a mild alpha brainwaves or theta brainwave state, you are in a trance state. In short, you are in a subconscious state. What you do, what you see, what you feel at that time has a huge impact. So it's always good to program it at that point in time, which also means deprogramming or programming in a negative way at that time has to be something that you have to avoid. What I'm trying to say, don't watch unnecessarily news channels, don't crib or complain, don't speak to a Dukhi Atma friend at that point in time, even if you're wanting to help that person, speak to that person in a different time. These 2 times you have to use for programming.
For yourself,
Absolutely,
basically.
absolutely.
And do you design affirmations for people specific, or what's your method?
So one of the best way of designing an affirmation is to look at what the challenge is, and the opposite of the challenge becomes your affirmation. However, a lot of times people create affirmations which are related to the outcome only.
Give me an example.
For example, I now manifest continuous income and abundance in my life. Beautiful affirmation. What it doesn't talk about, what shit are you going to do to make that happen?
The action part.
It's missing. Because we need to know the entire universe is talking about cause and effect.
Yeah.
So if I don't have abundance and I now say I now attract abundance is not wrong. However, asking yourself, where am I going wrong? What are my thought process going? For example, whenever I think about money, my mind says it may not happen for me. Now an affirmation is, whenever now I think about money, I now think it is going to happen to me.
So this is the affirmation.
These all now, so, we have this very typical corporate example of why analysis. You talk about a problem and do a why analysis to go to the root. Why? For example, if somebody says, I don't feel fresh in the morning, the most simple affirmation that you can create is, I now feel fresh in the morning. Now you ask a person, why? Because I don't sleep properly, I have disturbed sleep. Second affirmation, I now have better quality of sleep. Why do you have disturbed sleep? I have a lot of clutter in my mind before sleeping. Third affirmation, I am now feeling much more clear and peaceful before I sleep. Why do you feel cluttered? Let's assume somebody says, I don't know. A simple affirmation, I now find the right person or get clarity on how to declutter my mind.
So there are layers.
There are layers. So now these are not random, just motivational statements created as affirmations. They are very specific, related to your problem. You are going through behaviors, you're going through beliefs, you're making a list of it. So instead of one affirmation, you have a beautiful script. And it goes into a beautiful, now you can rearrange them and go in a sequence. So now you're saying, I am now motivated to regularly get up and exercise. I'm connecting with the right person who inspires me. I'm now regularly exercising and seeing a change in my entire health. I'm now experiencing absolute great energy at a level of body, mind, emotions. So now I have a beautiful sequence.
To personalize it.
Absolutely.
That's better.
Because a lot of times just go with the outcome.
So I think this is the right time to talk about, all these pseudo affirmations that are available on YouTube and everywhere, where there are I am affirmations and people have this very standard list and they start following it.
Right.
What's your perspective on this? Like, how do we stay away from the wrong ones? What is not working and what is working?
My perspective is get inspired by it because it's anyways there. Whether you like it or not, it's going to show up.
Yeah, I mean, it's noise.
Yeah, it's there. So, for example, if I go to ChatGPT today and say, give me a list of 30 affirmations which will help me manifest or attract abundance, it will give you 30.
Yeah.
Is all relevant? Is all effective? Necessarily no. Simply, if somebody would ask me, would affirmations work? My answer is, it works. Till what extent depends on how powerfully you repeat it, how powerfully you feel the emotion, how much do you believe in it, and something we've already spoken, is there already a lot of clutter or not? That's important. Second thing, one needs to analyze when I am repeating an affirmation, am I genuinely able to feel or believe in it? Because there are times you are repeating an affirmation which is not a reality today. Example, let's say if I have a broken leg and I'm repeating, I am running like an athlete. Now I might repeat it for 10 minutes. I can repeat it 100 times. And as soon as I open my eyes and I try to walk, my leg is going to remind me, this is your reality. I might repeat, I attract a lot of abundance. And I open my eyes and interestingly, you might get a message from the bank saying, this is your bank balance. And it can shatter everything, which predominantly means even when you're repeating your affirmation, you should be able to believe in it. Second, your logical mind becomes an interference over there. Now, the question is, how do you satisfy the logical mind and the subconscious emotional mind? So repetition helps. Connecting with people who tell you how it's possible will help. And second, I always tell people, you need a strategy and belief in the strategy which grounds your affirmations and goals in life.
Yeah. I think overall personalizing it is a must.
And a strategy.
Yeah.
Very, very important. For
Yeah.
example, let's say if somebody comes to me and says, Harish, I'm earning 5 lakh rupees a month. And my target is 50 lakh rupees from next month. Majority of people will treat this as confidence or overconfidence, in your opinion. Overconfidence.
For sure.
But I always feel it's neither confidence nor overconfidence. It depends on whether you have a strategy or not. So for example, if you're saying I want to move from 5 to 50, if you have no strategy, you ask the person, kaisa karega? And the person says, malum nahi, it's overconfidence. Similarly, if somebody is saying I'm earning 5 lakhs, my target is 5 lakh 10,000, only that much, I will still ask, what is your strategy? And if they say, I don't know, that is overconfidence. So which means the strategy grounds and satisfies the conscious mind. So now when I say I now attract abundance and you have a plan for it, you have a strategy and you're taking action towards it, even when you don't have it right now, it will still work in a powerful way because you know you're taking action in that direction.
Well, that's very powerful. But give me an example of a strategy. Like, how does...
Let's say if my goal is to achieve a particular body weight. Okay. Let's say if I am 89 and I want to achieve 79. Right? And I'm just saying I now experience a very healthy body weight of 79. That's utter bullshit. Some people still repeat it and say I am already able to feel it. Wonderful.
Wishful.
Wishful. But for the majority of people, a part of them will say it's not happening. Now there are also people who come and say I've tried a lot. And this is where we've already established, if you're already taking a lot of action, your strategies are in place, you're changing your diet, right? You are exercising, you're getting into fitness, and yet it doesn't happen. Now you go to a therapist because there is something that's pulling you back. But a lot of times I would ask, what is your strategy for achieving 79 from 89? What are you going to change in your diet? What are you going to change in your fitness? Realizing whatever you're doing right now is not giving you the result, which means kuch to alag karna. I am not necessarily saying jada karna hai. I am saying alag karna hai, right? And now the strategy becomes, what is it that I'm going to start doing and what is it that I'm going to stop doing?
So the plan of action.
Plan of action. Like strategy at a broader level would be, I'm going to make a shift in my diet. I'm going to make a shift in my exercise. Broader strategy. Specific actions under that strategy. Now he's telling you, you have a plan in place. Now there are many people who come and say, plan banta hai, hota nahi hai. Now is where you need the right energy or a
design.
Coach. Exactly. Now you need somebody who will motivate you. See, as simple as, if I want to go for regular walks and I'm not doing it, finding somebody who inspires me increases my chance.
Yeah.
So it's a very simple solution.
Yeah.
And if you're not able to find anyone, this is where you hire a coach. But the majority of people have the biggest excuse, kaun itna paisa dega? But you don't understand, isse 10 guna aap hospital mein doge if you don't do it right now. So the strategy towards anything will help. Let's say somebody says, my relationships are getting better and better. Beautiful affirmation, beautiful goal. But now what's the strategy? Now the person says strategy is, I am going to have dedicated 20 minutes in the evening where I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm not going to look at work. I'm just going to have casual, even bakwas casual conversation with my spouse, but we're going to laugh it out. Phenomenal strategy, right? I am going to ensure once a week, it's just me and her, we're just going out for a drive. I'm not saying you have to do a lot, but you need a plan. And then, of course, the 5 minutes of introspection, you are learning, did the plan work or it didn't work? And if it didn't work, what could be a new plan? And some people say, but itno sab time kitna hai? But bhaiya, problem jab hota hai, isse kai zyada time aapko dena padega usko address karne ke liye.
Yeah. And those 30 minutes is actually upgrading your rest of the 23
100%.
and a half
You're
hours,
in a much more peaceful state. You're in a much more better state.
And it has a compounding effect.
Absolutely.
For your life.
So programming, strategy, logic, belief, desire, belief. A combination of all is what's going to take you to the next level. And the result will tell you whether your strategy was good enough or your programming was good enough or not. And when you don't see it is good enough, again go to an expert or re-look at it and see what needs to change. As simple as today when I go. Now some people say, Harish, affirmation used to work before, but ab kaam nahi kar raha. And my only answer to these people is, affirmation hamesha kaam karta hai. But if it is a calling for you to evolve deeper, basic techniques will stop working for you. This needs to be understood. For example, today I go to the gym, first time, and I'm doing a 10-pound dumbbell. You will see results even in the 10 pounds. But थोड़े दिन में यही 10 pound कुछ भी नहीं करेगा. You hit a plateau. Now you can come and say 10 pound is not working. 10 pound is still working. But now you've reached a state where you need to go to a 15 or a 20 or a 30 or change the strategy, use different movements. It's inviting you to change. It's inviting you to relook. It's inviting you to go deeper.
It's a dynamic journey.
But that doesn't mean affirmations don't work. It only means it's time for you to go deeper.
Evolve.
Absolutely.
So what I'm understanding is, like the playbook, if you were to talk, is one is that talk to an expert to be self-aware,
Absolutely.
to exactly know the why, like you said. Parallelly start taking therapy, the right method. Have your daily
Programming.
rituals and programming.
And decluttering.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And once you know what you want, then have a strategy, basically a plan of action, and then design the affirmations based on and personalize it. And then
Absolutely. I still
start
have my
the journey.
affirmations. I still repeat them. And I'm not sitting dedicatedly every day. When I get free time, I just repeat. For example, one of my favorite ones is, I am becoming more and more joyful and happy every day. And I know even a fraction or a micro percentage of this is a phenomenal shift.
Yeah, it's
And
beautiful.
as we started the entire conversation, it's going to impact all areas of my life.
Beautiful.
Having said this, it's never meant to be perfect. Even the richest man has something which is not working. Right? So the imbalance at times is perfection in action. So to know that every challenge, every dent, every incompletion is asking you to give your attention, mental, emotional, physical, to learn and implement is extremely important.
Yeah. It's a nudge for you to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, okay, I mean, you have done so many modalities and you have experienced and also taught people. According to you, which ones work the best? So there's inner child healing, there's hypnotherapy we spoke about, there's PLR, LBL. What's your perspective on these modalities? Like,
I will always say combination.
okay.
And one needs to explore. It will be absolute ignorance to say this is better than the other. For somebody, something else will work. But the only thing that I've realized, any method that helps you become better in your emotional state and helps you change your belief is a phenomenal method. Having said this, it also needs to raise your awareness. It's not just about saying, I am feeling good. It is extremely easy. Now, some people can misunderstand this, but I'm still going to say it. It's extremely easy to make somebody feel good. Like if I do a motivational session, if I give the right examples, use the right music, it's so easy to motivate people.
It's momentary.
The question is, are you going to remain motivated tomorrow? Maybe not. Right? So at the end, somebody is saying, I am feeling very relaxed, is a wonderful thing. But is this changing your thought process? Is this changing the way you look at the problem? And I always say the biggest progress in life is when the problem is still a problem, but your perspective towards it has changed. Any therapy, any technique that makes that shift is a phenomenal thing.
The inner transformation.
Absolutely. So now if you say, now when I look at my toxic boss or my toxic junior or my toxic spouse or my toxic in-laws, I feel खुद इतना toxic है, मतलब खुद suffer कर रहा है इसीलिए. I'm not discounting the other person. I'm not saying that I'm giving permission. But the way I'm looking at it is completely changed, and that gives you power to handle the situation and even influence the other person. The beauty is nothing has changed. The person is still the same. What's changed is your way of looking at it. And now the way you look at it changes, your ability and behavior changes, And interestingly, you'll end up influencing the person also.
Yeah, and that's the only thing in your control, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't control anybody else's behavior.
Absolutely.
So, also, I think hypnotherapy and PLR sounds very similar, fundamentally. Can we talk about what's the difference between the two?
Both are formats of regression. And regression is predominantly going back to the past. Now, you either look at it as going back to the past or look at it as going back into the depth. Because I can always question, am I really going back 20 years?
Yeah.
Or am
Or
I just
maybe
going
the
into my memory,
Lives, yeah.
which is still alive, which is 20-year-old? Doesn't matter. So, PLR is only past life regression. See, both work on only one premise. And the premise is all incompletions of your past will follow you, trouble you, remind you. I sometimes even use the word haunt you till the time you complete it.
As baggage.
Absolutely. So do I necessarily have to do a past life? Do I have to do only something of this life? You leave it to the wisdom of your own mind. So when we do therapy, we never say, today I will do past life regression. No, we will do regression. And how do we know there is a need for doing regression? When a client predominantly keeps talking about the past. The way they talk about the past. That's why a lot of times we would land up asking, can you tell me something about your childhood? Or we ask, can you tell me the challenges or the problems you experienced during your childhood? Right? Or when you were in school or when you were in college. Are we really interested in the drama? The answer is no. We're trying to see how the client is explaining it because it tells us whether the emotional charge is still there. And if it is there, we know we will have to go back to the past to really work on it.
So that's when you do the PLR?
We do the regression.
Regression.
So for example, if somebody is feeling helpless and that's the core emotion. Right now also they are going through a situation where they are feeling helpless. Or somebody will use the word powerless. Or somebody will say, I feel isolated. I always feel humiliated. Or I feel betrayed. I feel backstabbed. Whatever is the core emotion. And once we are in the emotion, a good therapist will always give a command, go back to the first time ever you felt this emotion.
So the method can be either.
It can be either.
That you basically intuitively decide.
Absolutely. Of course, there are different scripts that can be used for a past life regression.
Sure.
Like some therapists will use a tunnel method. Some people will use a cloud method. Visualize the cloud is taking you back to the past. But the best way of doing it is trusting the intelligence of the mind of the client and just saying when they are feeling that emotion, go back to the first time ever. Now, if they say, I remember a time when I was 4-year-old, you trust the wisdom that the mind has taken you to a 4-year-old memory. But if the client says, I don't know where I am and I'm not sure, maybe it seems like some other different place, you don't have to necessarily say it is a past life. Like some people question, is there really something called as a past life? How do I know what I saw is really a past life? But as a therapist who's been practicing for 23 years, the only thing I would say, don't worry about whether it was a past life or it was an imagination. At the end of the day, it's in your mind. So let's work on the entire image, the conclusion and the emotion where it is still stored in the body. And let's do a release. If it gives us a behavioral change and a change in the outcome, whether it was genuinely a past life or not, don't bother too much about it.
So PLR also takes you to a past life,
Yes.
and hypnotherapy does the
Hypnotherapy
same.
is a medium of taking you back to a past life or age regression. Age regression is going back to your childhood. There is also intrauterine regression, which means when you were in the mother's womb.
Okay.
Why do you think sometimes there are advices given to a carrying mother that talk to your child?
Oh, so PLR is basically a type of hypnotherapy.
Yeah,
Is what I'm understanding.
Regression, type of regression where you might use direct hypnosis, a scripted form of hypnosis, or simply, as I mentioned, when the emotions are already active, you are ready to regress anyways. Regression is going back to the past. Progression is going back to the future. So when we do a complete therapy and when we know there is a lot of weeds, we do regression to heal that. After healing, we ask the person to visualize the future, and that's progression. Can you now see how your future is going to unfold when you now carry a belief that you're powerful.
I love that. I
So-
think that's the right way to
Yeah.
go about it.
And now when a client
Yeah.
says, when I think about the future, I used to get jitters. And now when a client says, when I now think about the future, I feel many things are possible, it's a phenomenal milestone achieved.
It is.
Now a good therapist after this will now say, now write down specific actions, goals and strategies. Don't miss out the logic.
And that's when you manifest.
That is when you start getting into a great state.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the majority of people are talking about manifestation in such a way as if it's a magical thing. And that is why people who are more towards science don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Majority
Too
of
many-
teachers are saying, forget about how it happens. It is magical, not logical. Come on, that's ignorance. That's like saying it is good luck. Luck is only used by those people who don't know how to explain it.
It's pure science.
Yeah, it's science because it's getting backed up with beliefs, backed up with emotion, backed up with strategy. Always remember, no manifestation technique is complete if you're not working on specific actions leading to the outcome. It's total ignorance where somebody says, "Aap repeat karo, ho jayega. Universe aake dega." Absolute nonsense.
Yeah. It's much
Right?
deeper than that.
It's much deeper. You are aligning with possibilities which exist. Because today, is money available? Yes. Right? Nobody's going to come and give it to you like this.
Are you ready to receive?
Are you ready to receive? If you go back to the most popular documentary where all the manifestation started as Secret movie,
Secret.
right?
Yeah.
Rhonda Byrne, and it got so popular. It's a beautiful documentary, incomplete in its own way because it has a limitation of
Yeah.
2.5 hours. So if you look at, I still remember 3 steps that they talk about is ask, believe, receive.
Yeah.
It only means set your goals, but it's not going to work if you don't believe in it. And nothing is going to work if you're not in a receptive state.
Yeah.
And receptive state is nothing but your emotional state.
Yeah. Cleaning your traumas, basically.
So I would always say, are you putting in some amount of effort in the direction of your goal? Equally and more important is, during the remaining part of the day, are you more or less in a positive state? If the answer is yes, you're going to see phenomenal results. In fact, you're going to come back saying, I am only putting in this much, but I'm getting this much.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
I
it
think
does.
after a point, it becomes inherent in a person where you don't have to even consciously say the affirmation. It just becomes a part of
Because
you.
your behavior is the
Yeah.
affirmation.
You become that.
Absolutely.
Basically. And that's the highest state.
And realizing it has a deadline,
Yeah.
which means one method will never work from the beginning till
Yeah.
end.
You got to evolve.
Constantly
Yeah.
evolve, even in the technique. Constantly try something.
And you're
different.
guided, I think. Like, you know what is the next thing, which
Absolutely.
is, yeah.
Like, to give you an example, I still learn. I still go and attend sessions.
Yeah.
I've been teaching breath work, but I still go and attend so many classes on breath work in this country, some other country. Why? Because I know there is something new that can come in. I would like to try. I would like to evolve. I would like to improvise. And that doesn't mean I still don't teach as basic as an affirmation.
Yeah.
But there are clients where I would straight away say, forget about affirmation. There are clients where I've said, use the techniques. And there are clients where I've said, it's time to leave all the techniques.
Yeah. It's very individual.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the North Star of every human is to evolve. And as long as we are very clear and focused on it, I think you're guided to different paths. Yeah. Okay, so we spoke on the timings of affirmations, but also, is there a difference between night and day affirmations, or it can be the same?
Absolutely. If you look at sunrise, it's all talking about life, newness, beginning, energy. The entire plant kingdom responds to that entire light. And if you look at sunset and night, it's talking about resting. It's talking about relaxing. So which obviously means affirmations that you repeat in the night can be developmental, progressive. However, it has to be more towards relaxation and rejuvenation.
Like,
For example, a beautiful night affirmation would be, I now rest and rejuvenate beautifully giving my body, mind, emotion absolute newness required in the morning. Example.
Lovely.
Or it could be as simple as, I am now resting so beautifully, I relax so powerfully that every cell of my body and mind heals itself naturally and quickly. I now experience an absolute calm state of mind. Put a full stop. Everybody wants something more powerful in the affirmation, but what they don't realize is having a calm state of mind is itself going to be one of the most powerful things.
Yeah.
Now, this might sound very incomplete, but if anybody would ask me, give me one thing that can give tremendous amount of success, I would say there is nothing called as one thing. But still, if I have to say one thing, I will say excellent quality sleep. And yet you have a lot of yogis saying, don't sleep, you're wasting your time. I would say the person has still not understood the science behind sleeping.
Yeah.
Right? I understand there are some yogis, they are so much in a meditative space that sleeping only for 2-3 hours is enough, because in the remaining time they are meditative. But for the rest of the people who are working, having their emotions ups and downs, if they only copy that principle, a collapse is inevitable.
Yeah.
So nighttime, let's have affirmations which relax you better, gives a very soothing state of mind, enhances the emotion in a relaxed way. At the same time, I don't want to get up in the morning and repeat, I am now feeling extremely relaxed and rejuvenated. No, in the morning, you could probably say, I'm now completely energized and I look forward for an amazing day. Every cell of my body feels the energy, passion, and gratitude, which gives me or helps me manifest a beautiful day today. So the energy of the affirmation of the morning and the energy of the affirmation of the night has got to be a little different. The texture of it has to be different.
So again, you personalize the affirmation. So it can't be the same.
It can.
Because
Should not be the same,
should
because
not.
now imagine in the night, if I am repeating that my energy is amazing, energy is awesome, I am now feeling my energy is at 10 on 10, it's going to spoil your sleep.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why
You're awake throughout.
Exactly. You got to naturally sedate yourself and not, awaken yourself. And that's extremely important.
So what are the other night rituals that you would suggest? Like, how does one prepare for a very good quality sleep?
Like if you look at rooted in the Indian tradition, there is always an evening bath. As simple as sometimes children have always said, bahar khel ke aoge to haath pair dho ke aana, right? A warm bath stimulates more relaxation for the muscles, can induce good quality sleep. Similarly, in the morning, a cold shower will trigger the right emotion, strength, and immunity also. So in the night, if I look at it, a nice warm bath is a beautiful thing to do. And also, people can practice certain breathing exercises. Breath work can be extremely powerful in the evening. As I already mentioned, introspection can be done. Then probably a warm shower. After that, one can do breath work. Gadget is only going to be counterproductive, whether it is Netflix or Amazon Prime or watching emails. It stimulates alertness. Yeah. And breath work can facilitate better quality sleep. But here also, it's important to understand what kind of breath work.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for example, not every breath work which is powerful for the health is good before sleeping. As simple as, first of all, if you're doing breath work, you need to ensure your stomach feels light, which means it cannot be immediately after dinner. So the best way is early dinner, light dinner, healthy dinner. Light is not necessarily unhealthy, right? Then breath work with triggers or activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Like simple biology, it says parasympathetic is rest and digest. Sympathetic is alert, fight and flight. It's not always fight and flight, but it's alertness, right? So the popular pranayams, if you look at it, there is Kapalabhati, which is very powerful and aggressive.
So that's for the morning.
That should be for the morning, because Kapalabhati is very rigorous. It can stimulate also the sympathetic in some people, sympathetic nervous system. But if you want to practice any breath work in the night, a simple alternate nose breathing, which is popularized by the name Anulom Vilom by Ramdev ji, that's also something which can be done. Very simple, relaxed breathing. You can do Brahmari, which is all about primarily the humming. And all of this is available on YouTube. And a very simple breath work is inhale through the nose and out through the nose or out through the mouth. The only rule being exhalation has to be longer than inhalation.
Okay.
For example, you inhale, it can be in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or if you can, 7, 8. So the length of exhalation is double the length of inhalation. When you do this, it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. Some people, even by doing this for 5 minutes, you will start yawning because you're moving into the rest and digest mode.
It's the Ida Pingala thing.
Ida
also.
Pingala primarily is the masculine feminine. Ida and Pingala is primarily the balance. And that's also getting stimulated primarily through the nadis, the energy, and your hemisphere of the brain also. Right? The right being the masculine, the left, the right being the feminine, the left being the masculine. Cross is happening here, so the nostrils. Right? So when you're doing alternate nose breathing, you are balancing the Ida and Pingala. Naturally, if you look at it, one of the nostril is dominant because the balance is naturally happening. So it's not the Ida and Pingala that you're doing. This is just parasympathetic nervous system. Whether you're breathing in through the right dominant or left dominant, your exhalation is longer. It puts you into a relaxation state.
So breathing techniques, and then you get into the relaxing affirmation.
Absolutely.
This is a
you
good...
you can lie down, and some of them use powerful audios created by themselves or available on internet, or there are organizations who create that for you. All of them are extremely powerful. The beauty of an audio is you really don't have to put a lot of brains into it. Somewhere you're just hitting the bed, you're going off to sleep, but it's still running, that your life is beautiful and something is happening and magic things are happening. It's a wonderful thing. But then I would always suggest search for nighttime affirmations.
Yeah.
The nature, the emotion
specific.
is extremely important there.
How about writing affirmations? I think that's also very powerful, which has been spoken about. So, what's the, morning would be a good time to write, or
Anytime
what do you
is good.
follow?
Anytime is good. But if you're not feeling when you're writing is not helping. At the end of the day, it's all about feeling. However, having said this, handwriting has the power. When you write anything, it has the power to bypass the critical filter of the mind. That's why बचपन में माँ बाप बोलते थे बेटा याद नहीं रहता है तो लिख के पढ़ा करो. Having said this, that's also the science behind graphology.
Yeah.
Looking at your handwriting, personality types, traits, fears, all that can come up. So writing is also good. It is not necessary that you have to write.
Maybe somebody can start with that.
Absolutely.
Like defining the
Absolutely.
affirmations, and then you make it a...
Absolutely. So you can write, you can listen, you can repeat. But the most important thing is visualize and feel. Maybe for a few days I can write. The day I feel bored, I start listening. The day I feel monotonous, I start repeating. Once again, I switch. So kind of alternate. Whenever you're hitting the plateau, change the game.
And all of this would take 30 minutes overall?
If
Both
somebody is
night
doing
and day.
this for 30 minutes, I would purely say you are overdoing it.
Okay.
My suggestion is it should not be more than 5 to 6 minutes. Max.
All of it.
All of it. Max. 5 minutes and just relax. If you're constantly in the state of doing, you cannot experience the state of being. And manifestation is state of being and not doing. And whatever you're doing is eventually to get the feeling of being. So if I repeat something and now I feel relaxed, now you are in a beautiful state. If you're constantly doing, you're not being.
Basically, you put out the intention and let it happen.
Absolutely. Repeat it 5 times. There are people ask, how many times should I repeat an affirmation? And the only answer is the number of times depends on how quickly it produces the feeling.
Yeah. I mean, that brings us to this method 369, and there are so many pseudo techniques.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Very, very popular.
Yeah.
555, 369.
Yeah.
And if you Google it out, there are different explanations behind it. Somebody would say this was taught by Nikola Tesla and he used to practice and blah, blah, blah and everything. Tomorrow somebody can say this was something the Buddha used to practice. Who's going to go and check? Nobody's going to go and check. So the bottom line is to try and understand why somebody is talking about a particular technique. You will also see people are talking about the magic of 369. They can bring in numbers, they can bring in numerology, they can bring in astrological planetary positions. But if you look at simple science behind it, you are repeating a particular affirmation. You're either writing and visualizing or repeating and visualizing the same affirmation 3 times in the morning, the same 6 times in the afternoon, the same 9 times before sleeping, which is called the 369 method. which also states that, for example, my affirmation is, I am now attracting abundance in life and I am feeling more and more happier. I repeat this once, and now if you Google it out, it says now you hold the visual for 17 seconds. My suggestion is don't become rigid on 17. The bottom line is your ability to visualize for a few seconds and feel it happening. The emotional intensity is what they want.
It should naturally come.
You should develop it. So what are you doing? You're doing it 3 times, repeating it once, visualizing, repeating it again, visualizing, repeating 3rd time, visualizing. In the afternoon, you're doing it 6 times. Now in the night, you're doing it 9 times. Why 3, 6, 9? You're kind of gradually progressing and giving the maximum dose before sleeping because it hits the subconscious while you're sleeping. Also, it also tells you whether you're enjoying the process or not. For example, if 3 times also you're not enjoying, 6 is burden, 9 is a tremendous burden. And the bottom line of all affirmations are, if you're not enjoying the process, it is not working for you anyways. Repeating it 100 times more is only going to create more irritation, which means you're blocking manifestation, not rather manifesting.
Making it worse.
So now if you say in the night, I have to repeat it 9 times and your mind says, aur maza aayega, now it makes sense. But the bottom line, 3, 6, 9, 5, 5, 5, I would say, don't be rigid by these things. Create your own method. I can create tomorrow method 1, 2, 3, or I can create 10, 20, 30. And it's a good marketing term. And I can tell people this is better than 5, 5, 5, way better than 3, 6, 9s. And I can show you 10 testimonials. My only point to a lot of students, viewers is, don't get obsessed by it. And don't just believe in anything blindly. Try to logic it a little bit. Try to understand what could be the science behind it. And my answer is, there is visualization involved. It's a scientific process. Repetition is a scientific process. When you repeat anything, it becomes a part of your muscle memory. It becomes a habit. It becomes a pattern. And when you're enjoying it, emotion is the core of almost everything in life.
So the rule is, until you feel the emotion, you do it.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Or
design your own.
Or by doing it initially, if you're not feeling it, never assume by doing it another 100 times you're going to feel good. It's like somebody saying just by repeating it you will feel good. No, you might get irritated.
Yeah, I mean, for some it could happen even for once.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think it's subjective.
Same as with mantras, right? When people repeat mantras, they ask how many times? 21 times, 108 times. I tell people, if you feel it, once is enough.
Yeah.
So if you repeat whatever mantra, one line, and when I say it, I'm feeling it enough.
Also, what do you have to say about, these other techniques like the knot technique, and there are so many other going on in social media these days. I mean, too much noise. So, give us your perspective.
We spoke about the movie Secret. And if I go back to the past, I remember in that there is a person who spoke about gratitude stone. And the guy used to say that I got a stone from a river and I used to keep it in my pocket. And every time I would remove the stone, I would express gratitude for one thing.
Yeah.
Now, this is as good as saying that the stone is creating phenomenal results in life, which is utter stupidity. So whether it's telling your pillow or telling the wall or telling the chandelier, saying it's a chandelier technique or any technique, in my opinion, it's utter bullshit, promoting more ignorance. But if the science is explained, see, one is placebo. What is placebo? You believe this will work and hence it's working. I invite 10 pujaris in my house and I do a Maha Mrityunjay puja. The only thing is Pandit is doing puja, I am watching Netflix. Okay. I might still see some good results because my mind, my placebo says I did the puja, something good will happen. That is what is creating it. But if I genuinely want to see how the power of the mantra is, you participate in the entire puja and chant the mantra, understand the meaning of the mantra, feel the vibration of the mantra. So whether you're doing a pillow technique or any other technique, you understand, does that even make sense? Right? And then ask, what are we trying to do? Maybe the pillow technique is I am telling the pillow, this is what is going to happen or this is what is happening. And every night you see the damn pillow anyways there. And now, so it's a repetition. It's as good as I can do a laptop technique. Let's in fact create it today. Yeah, laptop technique of manifestation, which means every time you open the laptop, the screensaver says, "I manifest amazing events in life." Yeah, laptop technique. What exactly it is? It's primarily anchoring something that you already do with something that you want to remind your brain to do. Like in neuro-linguistic programming, there is a method where we sometimes teach students, we anchor that every time I take a pen in my hand and I take a deep breath, I am now able to recall whatever I studied. Now, when you practice this for 21-30 days, it gets anchored. So for a speaker, they can say, every time I get a mic in my hand, my confidence naturally comes in. So in NLP, you can anchor these kind of states. So when somebody is saying it's a water technique, or it's a knot technique, or it's a pillow technique, or it's a chandelier technique, you're just trying to anchor it, saying that every time I can do a switch technique. I can ask somebody, रात को switch off कौन करता है? मैं ही करता हूँ. So let me teach you the switch manifestation technique, right? So I can say every time I switch off, my mind naturally switches off, and I feel calmness, which helps me manifest that it's bloody gonna work. But are you understanding the science behind it? Or are you just going to blindly follow? Because then you have infinite methods being spoken. You're going to get overwhelmed about it. Having said this, this is my pure perspective. And I hope everybody understands the wisdom behind the logic also.
Well,
that's important.
That's the intention of this video, to basically demystify, and understand the right way to manifest, the science behind it. Yeah. I think the core is belief, the power of belief.
Belief and emotion.
Yeah.
Belief, emotion. Having said this, I don't know if we should talk about it. There are other interference also. For example, karmic cycles.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you that.
So that's something.
Yeah.
So, and this can be misunderstood. Like we spoke about past life regression some time back. We spoke about regression, where we are also saying if there is anything incomplete coming from the past, and you're trying to do all of these techniques, the incompletions, if it is very strong, it will not give you results.
Yeah.
So this is a time where you have to heal the incomplete past. So when we do, karma obviously means karma, which is actions. Which a lot of spiritual scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita has said, karma karu, which means there is no substitute for actions. That's
and
something.
Destiny also. Like destiny would play a role in your process of manifestation, right? So like you were giving an example of these 100 people trying to look for a job.
Right.
So let's, give a comparative kind of reference.
Sure.
That why 10 of them would get a job, although all of them are doing the same thing.
Absolutely. So let's take an example here. First of all, the most important point is, this is my belief. Even though there is something called as destiny, even if there is something called as destiny, please believe nobody knows the destiny.
Yeah.
So to be curious and adventurous about it is the best way. Right? Otherwise, why didn't anybody predict the pandemic? So many big astrologers, right?
Yeah.
Telling you what's going to happen in your life. What about the pandemic? Right? So, in my opinion, destiny is not a fixed path. It is alternate paths, infinite paths. So, which means if today I am smoking, in my destiny there is cancer. But if I quit today, it's not that my destiny is changed. I am now accessing another path which is better. If I not only quit, I've decided to inspire people who should quit. Now my destiny has another thing. Now that doesn't mean I have changed the destiny. Only by changing my thoughts and actions and behaviors and beliefs, I am accessing a different destiny altogether now. That is why
you're basically creating the destiny every single day.
I am accessing what is already existing.
What they say about timelines, right?
Absolutely.
It's like you're upgrading the timelines.
Absolutely. That's why a palmist will also say some lines are fixed, but some appear and disappear. The question is what makes it appear and what makes it disappear. And the answer is, when you have a phenomenal shift and it's sustained, there are a few things that happens here. That is why if you say destiny is in your hands, literally and figuratively also.
I think fate, they say, is the fixed part. And destiny is more dynamic.
I would still say fate
scope.
again. Like the only fate I would say fixed is death once you're born. So I would say once you're born, we all are moving towards death. कोई और किधर जा नहीं रहा है. The only rule is बीच में if you can मजे लेके जाओ. If you're born to empower people, sirf maje mat lo, teach people how to take maja of life and then go. Right? And if you've gone through a lot of pain, learn from it to become stronger and then primarily go. Jana to udhar hi hai. And I've also had people saying, ultimately jana udhar hi hai, farak nahi padta hai. Farak padta hai. I've had a lot of misleading spirituality where people say whether you travel by economy class or travel by business class, if you take a flight from Bombay to Delhi, you have to reach Delhi. Your experience in business and economy is different.
That's what we are here for.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying, and enlightenment is your ability to move from business to economy when needed and yet not feel incomplete.
Yeah.
That's enlightenment. So if your experience can get better, although you want to go to Delhi only, make it better. So I always tell people that if there is abundance, you've got to make it in life. Let's not use spirituality as a reason for not making money. I've had people saying, but mujhe itana nahi chahiye. My only answer is to donate kar, lekin bana. Ensure you're making it.
Yeah. If you have the potential, why not?
Absolutely. Why not?
So, going back to karma and destiny, so you think manifestation can change the path of your destiny?
Of course.
It has the power.
Yes. But then I would again not loosely use the word manifestation. If I have to encapsulate everything, I am going to say cleansing of the past things which are pulling you back, setting the goal, strategy, action, visualization, ensuring your feelings and emotions are getting better and better and you're working on it. If all of this together means manifestation, my answer is yes.
Yeah, it's like a symphony. Everything has to work together.
And I would also like to say, this is not a demotivating statement. Everything can be achieved is only a cliched motivational statement to motivate people. There will always be something which cannot be achieved at that point in time. Because life is also about embracing setbacks and failures.
Yeah.
So if you are not embracing that, realizing that it's only come to teach us something, or there is something better awaiting for you, then there is a problem. So Harish, would all these methods help me achieve everything in life? Definitely. Many things in life, definitely yes. What about the other things? That's there for learning. That's for you to fail and understand. Right? And that's important.
And there's a right timing to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Amazing. Wow. Okay. Shall we go to the rapid fire? Ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. One manifestation practice everyone should start doing.
Stop manifesting and start living. That's the one manifestation practice that I would like everybody to stop getting obsessed with hundreds of technique. Just focus on how do I give the best and be joyful.
Love it. One daily ritual for creating a powerful life.
Reminding yourself that if you are existing, if you are breathing, you don't need a bigger proof that the universe is with you.
A book that's had a lasting impact on how you think.
I may not have an answer there because there has not been one book. I can't even say, but there are few books that I remember have been nice, and every book would have been very wise at that point in time. Some of the names that I can think about is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. It's a beautiful book. I've liked at a very basic level of understanding, Power of Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy is a beautiful book. Can't think more right now, to be very honest, I think.
No, these are enough.
Well.
Okay, 3 rituals that you follow for your well-being.
Okay. I make it a point. Now, I don't know if this can be called as a ritual. As a practice, I definitely make it a point to express gratitude. And it's not necessarily closing my eyes and expressing thank you to 100 things. Wherever possible, I would do that. It could be a rickshawala. It could be a client. It could be right now to you because you've invited me here and you've given me the space to talk about it. Right? So thank you for that. So practicing gratitude is extremely important. A lot of people practice gratitude thinking this is going to produce great results.
Yeah.
That's undervaluing the value of gratitude itself. Knowing that expression of gratitude is your ability to acknowledge the beautiful things existing is itself a very, very powerful practice. Right? So gratitude is something which definitely would be a part of it. Introspection is something I definitely do because I always feel, even though these two words can be paradoxical, that acceleration and pausing, But I always feel the right pauses are required for genuine acceleration in life. And the third ritual, if I have to call it, I'm constantly working on it also. I ensure that I'm still going to call it as a ritual, focusing on health and focusing on rest and sleep. I think it's more than enough.
Amazing. Okay, one quote that you live by.
That till the time I'm breathing and I'm alive, I would like to keep transforming lives of millions of people. That's one thing. It's not a quote that I read. It's something that I remind myself of. That's something that I live by. In fact, a part of my prayer is the day I stop doing that, it should be a closure for me. And I say that genuinely.
Wow. That's your purpose.
That's my purpose.
Okay, complete this sentence. Manifestation begins when?
Something that I've already mentioned. It begins when you stop obsessing about manifestation and focusing more on actions and emotions.
Another one. The universe responds to?
Your emotion and beliefs.
Love it. Wow.
Thank you very much.
This was good. Did you like it?
Amazing. Beautiful. Thank you for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we can stop at one.
Oh, this is
I'm
beautiful.
sure we should have
Thank
a
you.
series on this.
You
But thank you so much. I think this will enlighten a lot of people and demystify
you.
their beliefs. And grateful to have you.
Grateful
Yeah.
to you.
Any
and grateful
last
to all of you.
words?
Thank you. Last words? No, I think that was good. Last words, let it come from you. That's
Just
the best
grateful.
thing. Thank you.
Thank you.